10 things sellers do to hide a defect before you ever walk through that door, and most buyers walk right past every one of them. The best looking house on the street is the one that you should have walked through the slowest. A seller who knows there's a problem also knows what catches a buyer's eye, and they're gonna know what to cover up before you ever pull into the driveway. And the gap between catching it at the showing and finding it after you close can be $40,000 out of your pocket on a repair that was never supposed to be yours. So here are 10 things to look for before you make an offer. Because the day you close, every one of these, they stop being the seller's problem and they become yours. Now, not every seller who hides a defect is doing it to scam. Some of them are just out of money and some are out of time. They figured nobody is gonna look that closely. Well, you're gonna look that closely because some of those cover-ups, once you're past closing, it's gonna cost you $10,000, $20,000, or even $40,000 or more to fix. So let's walk through every one of them. Roof sealant over vents and flashings and chimneys. You start at the top, literally. When you're outside looking at the roof, you're looking for something that looks like black tar or a thick caulk that's slathered around the chimney or the vents or even the flashings. Well, that's roof sealant, and in small amounts, if applied correctly, it's a legitimate repair. But when you see it globbed on thick or spread around like somebody was in a hurry, it usually means there was a leak, and instead of fixing the cause of the leak, they covered up the symptom. The problem with that approach is that water finds a way, and sealant buys time, and it doesn't fix the underlying issue. Point it out to your inspector. Ask them to look at what's underneath, because a properly functioning flashing doesn't need to be buried in sealant. Fresh paint in one spot. A fresh coat of paint of an entire room, normal. Sellers freshen up before listing. It's completely fine. But here's what you're looking for. A single patch of fresh paint on one section of a wall, or a ceiling with one spot that's slightly different shade than the rest, or paint that looks new in a place that doesn't make design sense, that's almost always covering something. Could be a water stain, or mold, or a crack they didn't want you to see. I had a buyer once, sharp woman, first home. She noticed a patch on the master bedroom ceiling that was just a shade brighter than the rest. We brought it to the inspector and he pushed on it. It was an active moisture leak in the attic that was directly above. It had been leaking for 2 years. The repair estimate, $11,000. Well, she caught it because she was looking, and most buyers would have walked right past it. So when you see fresh paint in an isolated spot, write it down and tell your inspector exactly where it is, because they're gonna know what to look for. A recent remodel with no explanation. A remodeled bathroom can mean one of two things. The sellers wanted to improve the home before listing, or something went wrong. Badly enough, they had to tear it out. A slow leak under the vanity that could have rotted the subfloor, or plumbing that backed up and soaked the walls. Better yet, mold that spread far enough that everything had to go. And they fixed the problem, or maybe they just covered it and put in a brand new vanity, or new tile, or new fixtures on top. And of course, it looks beautiful, and you have no idea what's underneath. So when you see a remodel, especially in a kitchen or a bathroom, ask the question directly. When was this done and why? If it was done by a licensed contractor, ask for the paperwork, permits, maybe receipts, even the contractor's name. If they did it themselves, dig deep. A DIY remodel over a hidden problem is one of the most expensive things that you can inherit in a home purchase. Quick thing before the next one. I put this whole walkthrough into a free checklist that you can carry to every showing or every inspection, every item on this list in one place. It's linked in the description below, so go download it so you've got it in your pocket. A resurfaced foundation. Walk the perimeter of the house and look at the foundation. If you see fresh concrete or new stucco on the exterior, particularly in patches that don't match the rest, well, that's worth a really close look. Sellers will resurface foundation walls to hide water intrusion damage that's been building for years. They'll fill cracks with hydraulic cement and paint over them, and they'll apply a fresh coat of stucco to a wall that has been slowly moving for a decade. Foundation repairs, they're not cheap. We're talking anywhere from a few thousand for a minor crack to $40,000 or even $50,000 for serious structural work. There was a case back in 23 where buyers discovered after closing that the sellers had placed storage containers directly in front of 3 severe foundation cracks to block them from view during showings. The structural repair estimate, it came back at $40,000 to $50,000. Well, that's what hiding a foundation problem looks like at its worst. Flag any fresh resurfacing to your inspector immediately. If they have any concern at all, bring it to a structural engineer. The few $100s that costs is the best insurance you can buy before you go under contract. Heavily caulked or sealed windows. Windows need maintenance, and caulking, it's normal and necessary. But when you're looking at a window and the caulk is thick or uneven or applied in a hurry, red flag. Because heavy caulking around exterior windows often means that water's been getting in around the frame, and the seller knows it, and they're trying to stop it long enough to get through the closing. What's behind that window frame is the framing and the insulation and drywall, and it could already be compromised. Same with the windows that have been painted shut. That's not just a convenience issue, that can indicate swelling from moisture or even an attempt to seal a frame that's no longer true. So note that every window that looks over caulked or sealed, your inspector should be checking for soft spots around every one of them. Mismatched exterior elements. Walk around the outside of the house slowly. You're looking for siding that doesn't quite match, shingles that are slightly different color than the rest of the roof, a patch of brick that looks newer than everything around it. Sometimes it's nothing. It's a legitimate repair that was done right and documented. But sometimes it means water got in, or insects did their damage, or something rotted through. Instead of addressing the cause, the seller replaced just enough to pass a visual inspection. When you see it, ask, what happened there and who did the work? And I want to see the receipts. If the answer is vague, if there's no documentation, and if the repair was done by someone they can't name, well, that's a job for your inspector and possibly a specialist. New carpet in a specific room. Brand new carpet throughout a house, it's fine. Sellers often recarpet before listing. But brand new carpet in one room while the rest of the house has original flooring, that's a question that's worth asking. Pet damage, water damage, staining bad enough that refinishing wouldn't hide it, those are all reasons sellers drop new carpet over a problem instead of disclosing it. And area rugs are the same play. A large area rug sitting in the middle of a room, slightly off center, in a spot that makes no design sense, lift it up before you leave, because you have every right to look. Ask the seller if there's hardwood underneath, and ask why the carpet was replaced. You're not always going to get a straight answer, but the how they answer tells you something. Furniture or art in odd places. This one seems obvious once you know how to look for it. A piece of furniture that's been pushed against a wall in a spot that makes no sense, that might be off center or blocking a corner or facing the wrong direction, or a large piece of artwork that's hung low on a wall or placed somewhere it would never go in a staged room. These things catch your eye for a reason. Trust that instinct. Sellers will place furniture in directly in front of a wall damage or water stains or mold or cracks, anything they don't want you to see. You can ask the home inspector to look behind anything that seems misplaced. They can move it and they can shine a light in the corner. If someone pushes back on that request, that's information. The seller's own inspection report pushed onto you. Well, this is subtle but important. More and more sellers doing pre-listing inspections before they go on the market. I think that's a great idea, and I've talked about it before. But here's where it can go wrong. If a seller had a pre-listing inspection and found some issues and then fixed some but not all of them, well, they may try to hand you their inspection report and suggest you don't need to do your own. We've already had it inspected, and here's the report, and you're all set. No, you're not. Get your own inspection from your own inspector that you hired. The seller's inspector was paid by the seller, and their report reflects what the seller wanted to share. Your inspector's job is to find everything, including what the seller's report conveniently left out. So never ever waive your inspection, and never rely on theirs. The downplay. This is the one that doesn't show up on any visual checklist, and it might be the most important one on this list. You're walking through the house. You notice the HVAC looks rough. Could be rust on the unit or dirty filters, and you ask about it. Oh, that's always been like that. Never had a problem with it. you see the water heater 17 years old. It's be fine, runs great. Well, you notice a stain on the listing that looks old, and that was from years ago and was fixed. Well, the downplay is designed to make you feel like you're being paranoid, like you're overthinking it, like an experienced homeowner would just accept this and move on. Don't accept it and move on. Every single item that you raise, write it down. Hand that list to your inspector and ask them to spend extra time on anything the seller dismissed. Because it's always been like that, it's not a repair record, and it was fixed without documentation is not a disclosure. 2 things to do that most buyers skip before you close on any house. Do these 2 things. They pull the permits and contact the local building department for the town where the house is located. Ask for every open and close permit on the property. It's public record, and you have every right to it. What you're looking for? Any work that required a permit. If it was done by a licensed contractor and the permit is closed, the town inspector signed off on it, and you're good. If there's open permits, work that was started and never inspected, that's a seller's problem to resolve before closing, and definitely not yours after. So request a CLUE report. CLUE stands for Comprehensive Loss Underwriting Exchange. It's a record of every insurance claim filed on the property. Could be water damage, fire, wind, flooding, all of it. You can request it for free. And this tells you what happened to that house that the seller may not be volunteering. A property that has filed 3 water damage claims in 8 years is telling you something the seller's disclosure might not be. So get it, read it, ask questions about anything on it. So let's wrap this up. Here's what you're looking for every time you walk through a house. Roof sealant slathered around flashings and chimneys, ask about it. Fresh paint in isolated spots, write it down for the inspector. Recent remodels with no paperwork, ask why and who did the work. Resurface foundation, bring in a structural engineer if anything looks off. Heavily caulked windows. That could be moisture, may already be behind the frame. Mismatched exterior elements. Ask what happened and get receipts. New carpet in one room, ask what's underneath. Furniture or art in odd spots, look behind it. The seller's inspection report, it's pushed on you, get your own. The downplay, write down everything they dismiss and hand it to your inspector. And before you close, pull the permits and request the CLUE report. A fresh coat of paint is either the cheapest upgrade a seller can make or the most expensive thing that you're going to walk past. And once you've spotted the problems in the house, the next thing that costs buyers money is what they say out loud during the process. I made a video on the things you should never tell your real estate agent. Watch that one next.